In this video, I'm going to show you how to build the daily report. So there are three parts. The macro will first import and filter the feed data. The second part is to generate the summary. And then the third part is to save the file. So here's the example. We open the previous day's file, and then it will filter the feed file by locations as New York, Toronto, and London. And then we import the filtered data into the data tab. Then calculate the sums for the three locations and then update the summary tab accordingly. Lastly, the file will be saved to the new date. First, let's take a look at the feed file. In the feed data, the first column is the sales date, and the second column is the location. Basically, there are 6 locations here, but we only need 3. This is the column we are going to do the filter on. For the rest of the columns, they'll be saved as is. This is the previous day's file, July 9th. We're going to roll it by 1 day. So let's change the report date to July 10th first. And then the last thing is that we want to update the total amount for New York, Toronto, and London based on the reporting date of July the 10th. The first thing is to open the VBA editor and insert a module. And then let's do a sub. Daily report. First, we want to define a variable as the report date. So this report date is basically the cell C3 in summary tab. And then we want to know the feed file name. Feed file, and also we want to know the feed path. The feed path is basically the same as the report with the macro. So it's the same thing here, this workbook path. And then we want to add a backslash here at the end. And then the feed file name should be, let's see what the feed file name is. So it's feed dash feed space dash and with the format of year, month, and date. And then the extension. Let's define another variable too for the feed file. Workbook as workbook. Let's open the workbook. Set workbook equals open. So it's in the path. And what is the file name here? Then it's open. What we want to do is that first we want to filter for the locations. The first worksheet here. And then next, we want to find out what is the last row because it's dynamic. So let's find the last row first. Last row equals, we start from A1 and then direction is go down, Excel down, the row. Okay, so we know the last row, we know it's from A1 to F, the last row, to do the filter. So which field do we want to do the filter on? the second column location, so field number is 2. And then the criteria is we have 3 locations, so let's use an array. And then since it is array, let's use the operator as Excel filter values. So we'll filter by all the 3. After the filter is done, we want to clean the previous day's data in the data tab. Okay. So basically, we are cleaning all the cells in the data tab. Next step, we want to copy the filtered data into the data tab. The destination should be top left cell of the data tab, which is the range A1. After we copy out the data, we want to close the workbook. Choose false, not to save the file. Next, let's go to this data tab, and then we want to do a sum of by the 3 locations. So let's define 3 variables. Sum New York to record the New York total sum. Same thing for Toronto and London. Let's set the initial value to be 0 so we can do the sum as we go on. And then we are going to work on the data tab. We're going to from the top to the bottom. It's dynamic. We don't know how many rows. So let's define another row to record the row number. We start from row 2 and then it's dynamic. So let's use a while loop. The criteria is that as long as column A and then row data, it is not empty. So I'm going to use VB null string. If it is not empty, we are going to figure out whether it is Toronto, New York, or London. And then lastly, the row will move up by 1 row. So the criteria is that column B. So if the column B is New York, what we are going to do is that to add column F to sum New York. The same thing for London and Toronto. We are going to do the same thing. And then in the end, close the if. Change to else if. Then here, the second one is Toronto. The last one is London. So the second one is Toronto. Last one is London. And then last thing, we want to write the sums to the summary tab. So the summary tab, C6, 7, and 8. C6 is the New York. C7 and 8, Toronto and London. And then the last step, let's save down the file. Save to the same folder here, but the file name is daily sales report dash, and then let's use the same format here. And then change to micro enabled file. Okay, it's done. Let's do the testing. Let's make sure the feed file is closed. This feed file is closed. Let's use F8 to do the testing. Oh, London. Yep. Okay, let's fix it. And okay. Yep, the feed file is open here. Filtered. See, filter by second column. And then copy it over. Close the file. The data now changed to July the 10th. And then let's go move on. And then let's do the sum. And since this is working, let's set a break. And F5, go to that. And then we have numbers for each of the sum. Then let's see the update of the total amount here. Update, update, update. Okay. Next, save the file. Let's go to the folder. See, okay. The new file is saved here. All right, so thank you for watching this video.